Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope y'all are doing well. Today I have the great honor of partnering up with Mercier to present you all with this tutorial on how I create a soft glam look for the fall time on our naturally beautiful model Lauren. So without further ado, if you want to learn how I created this look right here, then keep on watching. So to begin, I'm using the Clarins Double Serum to get the skin prepped for the complexion products we use today. It's super hydrating, but it also firms and smooths the texture, which is great for getting that flawless base we're going for. I like to press it into the skin, focusing on areas that need a little extra love, and it just leaves the skin glowing and ready for the makeup. For foundation today, I'm using the Mercier Real Flawless Foundation. This formula gives such a natural finish while still offering versatile coverage. You can build it up to be full coverage if you so wish, or sheer it out, which is kind of what I'm going for today with our model Lauren. Now, as I mentioned in the outro, I've partnered up with Mercier for today's tutorial, so a big thank you to them for sponsoring today's video. And although you'll see me incorporate some other brands for this look, I'm going to try to use as many Mercier products as possible that I think are worth checking out during their friends and family sale. It's currently going on and ends on September 25th. I'll include the details and links of everything I'm using today down below, but they're offering 20% off site-wide along with some other perks, so definitely worth checking out. Now, if you've noticed here with the foundation, I first applied it on with a brush, but I'll go over everything with a clean makeup sponge to really press that product in with. And you see how the skin still looks like skin. We see her beautiful freckles peek through. It's not too matte, it's not too dewy, it's just right in the middle, giving a fresh, healthy finish. As for the under eyes, I'm using the Mercier Real Flawless Concealer, and I like to apply this with a small brush, just around the eyes where I want a bit more coverage and brightness. The brush makes it easy to get right where I need it without using too much product, but then I'll take the sponge to gently blend it in. The sponge really helps to press the concealer into the skin so everything looks super smooth and natural. What I like about this concealer is that it gives nice coverage without feeling heavy or without weighing the skin down, and it just blends right into the foundation so you don't even see where one ends and the other begins. Once the concealer is all blended, I'm going in with a Mercier Rose Loose Powder to set the under eye. I'm using a small fluffy brush to lightly press the powder right underneath the eyes, not swiping or tugging, but actually pressing it in. What I love about this powder is that it has a soft pinkish tone that helps lift and brighten the under eye. And because the formula is finely milled, it never reads as looking heavy. And even though I will end up using the baking technique, I'm just using a small amount here because we just want to set the concealer into place. After that, I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same steps on the other eye. So concealer first with a brush, blend it out with a sponge, set it with the powder, and then go in with the baking technique. This will give us even longer lasting wear and brightness in this area once we come back to wipe it off later. For the bronzer today, I'm actually taking a deeper tone of the concealer we used and mixing in a little bit of the foundation with it to create a custom liquid bronzer. This technique is great if you want a soft, seamless bronze that blends perfectly into the rest of your makeup. I'm using a fluffy brush to apply this to the areas where we naturally want more warmth, right along the cheekbones, the forehead, and around the jawline. The fluffy brush helps to diffuse the product so it goes on super soft and natural, rather than looking harsh or too contoured. I'm using circular motions to blend it into the skin so everything kind of melts together, and I'll then use my sponge to further press and blend this in with. This gives the skin subtle definition, but without going into the, that summer bronzy makeup category. It's just soft and a healthy warmth that looks really fresh. Next up, I'm taking the Laura Mercier translucent powder to lightly set the rest of the makeup. This powder is the gold standard for setting everything into place without adding any extra color or texture. It's just locking in the foundation while keeping that natural finish. Now I'm using the original translucent shade for the face instead of the rose tone I used underneath the eyes because this shade is more universal. The translucent formula sets the makeup without altering the foundation's color, which is key when you want everything to stay even and smooth. The rose powder I used underneath the eyes is great for brightening and counteracting those blue hues that we often find underneath the eyes, and it helps create that smooth transition from the blush up to the under eyes. So 2 different setting powder shades, but it makes a big difference. For blush, I'm using the Laura Mercier Blush Color Infusion in the shade Rose and popping this right onto the apples of her cheeks. This rose tone is perfect for fall because it gives that subtle, cozy warmth without being too bold. You know what I mean? It complements the deeper, richer tones we often see in the fall makeup styles, like warm browns and burgundy lips. And I really like that this formula is matte, meaning there's no shimmer or mica in it, which is great because if you have texture, it's not going to emphasize it. It'll work together with the other products we've used to create that smooth finish without overpowering the rest of the makeup. After this, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in the shade Dark Brown to ever so lightly fill in her brows. I start by using the spoolie to brush down her hair so I can really see where the sparse areas are, and then I get in there with the angled definer to feather in the product, keeping most of the product on the outer half so the front of the brow remains fluffy and natural, and using very light pressure so it doesn't turn out looking too harsh or overly defined. Next, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Freeze to lock the brows into place, just taking a little product onto the spoolie and brushing it through the brows, lifting them up for that clean, polished look, keeping everything into place all day without feeling stiff. For the eyes today, I'm using the Laura Mercier Caviar eyeshadow stick in the shade Cafe Noir. This is one of my favorite shades because it's a cool toned brown without reading too gray, and the formula is super beginner friendly. I start by gliding the stick directly across the upper lid, focusing on the outer half to create a nice base for a smoky eye. Once it's applied, I'm taking a fluffy brush and gently diffusing out the edges. The goal here is to soften the eyeshadow without losing too much intensity. So I'm blending up and out, and you can see how quick and easy it is to get that smoky effect in just a few strokes. You'll then see me pick up a little more of the product with a small eyeshadow brush and run it along the lower lash line to tie the look together. This gives a soft, smoldering effect without being too harsh, and really, in my opinion, the perfect balance for a wearable, everyday smoky eye. Next up, I'm picking up the shade here from the Makeup by Mario Master Matte's eyeshadow palette and using this as our transition shade and to add a little warmth to the crease and lower lash line, but not a whole lot. I definitely don't want this to turn into a warm eyeshadow look because I feel that's the direction most fall time makeup looks turn to. Everything is very warm toned. I really want to keep this quite cool toned because these grayish hues is what's helping her bright blue eyes really pop. And then to complement them even more, I'm picking up this black eyeshadow in the palette and just wiggling this through her lash line to give it a bit more of a defined appearance. You can opt for a liquid liner or a gel pencil if you're looking for something more dramatic, but I want this to be so subtle that by the time we do mascara and lashes, this will look so soft that we don't even notice it, and that's my goal. So feathering it in little by little and lifting upwards towards the end of the eye to complement Lauren's lifted eye shape. For lashes today, I'm starting with the Lancome Hypnose Mascara and running this through both her top and bottom lashes. And this is what's going to give the eye makeup that extra hint of drama and impact. The shadow is there just acting as a veil of color for the background, almost acting like a supporting role for the lashes to have their moment. Now I'm going to complete the other eye off camera real quick and then add on some individuals. The ones I end up using here are from Kiss Lashes. I forget the style I used, but I'll take a look and include them down below in the description box. But I just used 3 individuals on the outer corner of each eye, and it really makes a big difference. As you see here, I'm removing the excess baking powder by using a press and lift motion with my brush, and it's leaving behind that subtle brightness to the under eye that looks quite flattering. Now what I'm going to do is take this Mercier blush color Infusion, but this time in the shade Bellini, and use this to lightly run over the under eye area. So it was the rose tone blush we used earlier on in the tutorial to give the color to the apples of the cheeks, but it's this light peachy shade I'm using almost as a mid-tone blush to marry the under eye and the cheeks together, creating a color story that has a harmonious blend. For the lips, I'm starting out with this Makeup by Mario lip pencil in the shade Spiced Chai and using this to line her lips with. I'm not so much overdrawing. I think she has a really pretty lip shape. I just want to use this neutral brown to give definition and deepen the tone. One thing I love about fall makeup is the transition from the lighter nude lip combos we often see in the spring and summertime, and now going into the moodier style lips. And with this eye makeup, you can really rock any lip color with it, red, plum, whichever you prefer. But I'm going to create something a little more universal today, starting with this liner and then taking this Mercier Caviar matte smoothing lipstick in the shade Chantilly Lace and brushing this onto the center of the lip for a soft highlight. This is actually one of my favorite shades of lipsticks to use for this reason. It's a nice bright neutral shade without veering too pink. You know what I mean? It's almost like the same contouring and highlighting techniques we use for the face, but for the lips. So we use the lip liner as the contour and the lipstick in the center for a pop of brightness. And then I take this Mercier lip gloss in the shade Cherry Blossom to marry everything together. The subtle red tones in this gloss will add a hint of color to the lip, but most importantly, it gives that high shine finish that I think makes this lip combo so elegant and glam looking. All we gotta do now is take the Makeup by Mario's Real Skin Setting Spray to set and lock this makeup look into place, making this the final step in how we created this fall time look on our naturally beautiful model. There we have it, kids. I hope you all enjoyed today's tutorial. If you did, be sure to give this video a big ol' thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also check out more of my work on my Instagram at Painted by Spencer. And until next time, I'll see you soon.